Hello, welcome back. If you're new to this channel, it focuses on the ins and outs of living abroad in the beautiful country of Poland. Now, for this week, we have decided to do something completely different, and I have done my first interview. Now, don't want to give you too much information about the interview, but it's completely different, and we're super happy to share it with you. All right, hello everyone. I'm super excited. This is my first interview on YouTube, and I'm here with the one and only Malwina. Now, the interesting thing about Malwina is that she actually is Polish and she lives in Southern California. So it's kind of like we did a switch. You went to California and I came to Poland. So I have a few questions for you. I want to know your perspective being Polish and living in America versus my perspective. I've been giving my perspective being an American living in beautiful Poland. So my first question for you, I want to know a little bit of your history. Where are you from in Poland?
Yeah, hi Peter, thanks for having me. So I'm from Wrocław, the beautiful city in Poland, in southwest part of Poland. We've got 100 bridges and a lot of rivers.
I've been there and I agree with you. It is an absolutely a one of a kind, beautiful city. Now, here's the next one. How long, actually, where do you live in the USA? Where are you?
So I'm in Newport Beach. It should be sunny, but it's a little bit overcasted. But still, a beautiful city in Southern California in Orange County. So I can see an ocean from my patio. It's a dream. So Newport Beach, California.
And when you moved to America, is that where you first started? Did you start in Orange County?
Yes, I did. So I lived in Irvine for like 3 months. Then I moved to Newport. I
Mm-hmm.
went to LA, then Pasadena, and I'm back in Newport.
All right. So it seems like Newport is, or Orange County at least, is your home for now.
Yes, it is. And I love that place. I think it's the best county in south part of California.
Okay, awesome. I would have to disagree. But I
Okay,
think
which one is the best in your opinion?
I think some of the counties up versus up in Ventura are quite beautiful, but mainly not because of the vibes of the people, but because of the scenery, the hills and the cliffs. I absolutely love Ventura County and all those cliffs and all those amazing views.
Okay, yeah, Ventura is not bad. I also like San Diego
Okay, okay.
because yeah, they are like so laid back.
Yeah, the vibes there are cool, and like Mexico is like literally right there, so that is another
Uh,
added feature.
yeah, don't drive too far because you may end up in Mexico.
That might not be that bad with like good tacos, good drinks.
Yeah, but I don't know how dangerous it is to
You know,
drive on your own.
you know what, there always is that factor, but I think I've seen that Mexico is changing a lot, especially with a lot of Americans moving down there. So who knows what it has
Mhm.
to offer nowadays. Now, here's a big
I'll
question.
let you know. I've never been there.
You've never been to Mexico? Oh my God,
No.
you definitely have to go down. You definitely have to go
Yeah, I
down.
have to. Yeah, it's overdue.
Now, I want to know what specifically brought you to the USA. Why did you leave Poland and what opportunities or what made you decide, hey, I'm going to move to the USA?
So I was working as a consultant for a US company in Warsaw. And I had opportunity to travel to visit my clients. And the client from US wanted me to come to California and work on their project. So my company sent me, they paid for my apartment, they rented me a car.
Oh, wow.
Yes, so it was like a, an amazing opportunity to visit US, especially California. So when I got here in May, and in July, yes, in July, I met my husband.
Wow.
So he made me stay. Like when I met him, I was like, okay, think I'm going to stay here. Because my plan was to travel more, like to go to Asia for another project, maybe Australia, visit different states, different countries. But yeah, once I met my husband, I was like, okay, I think I found my place on the earth.
Wow, that's awesome. And how long have you been now? How long have you been in California? How many
It
years?
was, yeah, it's been 9 years now. So yeah, it's quite a time.
Nearly a decade.
Yes.
Wow.
I cannot believe like whenever it's May, I think May 28th was the day when I landed at LAX. It's like, oh my gosh, it's like another year. It's 9 now. It's
Wow.
time
Time
flies.
flies. Oh,
Yeah.
see, time definitely flies when you're having fun. And that's awesome that you landed and you met an amazing partner and you were able to get married. And that's just, you're living the American dream. You're
I
definitely
am.
living the
I
dream.
am. But it's hard work actually. Like you have
Mm.
to put a lot of work to be able to um achieve something here. Like it's not given. Like you cannot take it for granted that once you get to US, like you'll get everything. No, you have to work hard.
I like that you mentioned that because I think a lot of times when we're watching like Instagram and YouTube, we definitely get this highlight reel. And people see specifically California as like this fantasy land where when you go there and all your problems are gone. But when I was living there, it was hard too. You really have to work hard to live a good
Mhm.
life there.
Yeah, and what I noticed that like I think Polish people work hard, but it's like you have that 8 hours. Sometimes when you have to put more work, okay, you'll do that. But here, like work is almost all your life.
Mm.
Like there is not that much life work balance.
You know, I definitely had that problem when I lived there, and I kind of brought that here to Poland. And so I have to kind of shake it off and adopt more of the European or Polish standard work hard, but also have time to play hard. So,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm
Yeah.
definitely happy you mentioned that because America is about work. You have to really work hard for everything you get, and
Mm-hmm.
everything you do. So, besides working, what do you do in your spare time?
So I am volunteering with a Polish foundation, project Hackersi.
Uh-huh.
The project is taking care of underprivileged kids and give them opportunity to learn and develop their digital skills. They offer classes in English and some technical skills like graphic design, for example, or some kind of programming.
Mm-hmm.
So I started volunteering with them 2 years ago. Once everything went remote, uh, I saw that they are looking for volunteers. So I sent my application. And yeah, I stayed. Like I have group of girls. I'm teaching English. Um, and it's like very rewarding job. You made a video about teaching kids and how rewarding it is. So yeah, I agree. It is very rewarding, especially that you know that you can give something to your community. So I think they English skills developed for that 2 years. I really hope that it developed. Now I have information from them that their exams are always going so well that they are almost getting like 100%
Oh,
from English. So I was like, okay, I'm proud. I am proud
wow.
teacher. Even though like I'm not teaching them like grammar. The way I do my class is just a conversation because I think that's
Okay.
most important, being
That
able to communicate.
Yeah, I think it's really cool that you said that it's a good way to give back to your community, even though you don't live in Poland anymore. You're still taking the time to stay connected with Poland and to help Polish people, specifically underprivileged children, what I think is completely awesome and super generous and kind of you. Now, I I have to ask this question because it's probably a big question that a lot of people want to know. How is life for Polish people in the USA, specifically in Southern California?
Um, So, it's amazing. Weather is great. And I find that people are very kind. They're always smiling. They're very welcoming. So I've never had like any situation which would let me rethink my decision to stay in SoCal. So yeah, it's great. I've met some Polish people here too. So one thing is that everybody wants to come to California. So you have a lot of people trying to get the same resources. So like, for example, job is limited. So you have to try harder. What I noticed that even though I got my education in Poland, like nobody here knows my university. They don't know if it's good or bad. So yes, trying to advance in my career, I had to do something more. So I started school here. So finally, when employer sees my resume, it's like, oh, it's UC, like University of California, Irvine. Okay, it's a good school. We can keep talking. So yeah, that's one thing that you have to be better, especially like when you're coming from abroad. Like you have to show that you have something to offer.
Wow, thank you for sharing that. Yeah, I definitely agree. I think that, I go to the University of Apole, and I understand that. Like when I tell people, oh, I go to the University of Apole back in America, they're like, what? What is that place? Is that a private university? I'm like, no, it's a university in Poland in a specific region, and it's a state, or like a state or country university. And they're like, oh, okay. So I understand you definitely do have to advance your education, specifically when you go to a new country, just to stay relevant, and also to show them, hey, my degree is valid. I'm capable of doing the job. Now,
Yeah.
what do you miss most about living in Poland?
The atmosphere. I love that European atmosphere, like the small cities, small towns, the architecture, and the vibe. Like, I don't know, like I feel like people are more laid back. Oh, and the sun is setting around like 8 p.m. During summer. And in Poland is what, like around 10 p.m.?
10, yeah.
Yeah. So the day is much longer. I miss that during summer. I adjusted, like I know that the sun will be down like at 8 p.m. so it's okay. But yeah, at the beginning I was surprised. But yeah, I miss that European vibe, that old city architecture.
I
And
definitely,
yeah, and like the old town, like you have that market square where people are going to like enjoy their evening and their weekend. I don't see it here. It's like it was built for cars. California was built for cars. It's
I
difficult
definitely
to
agree.
walk. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Yeah, there wasn't a lot of walking when I lived in LA. I rode a bike, which was not conventional to do in Los Angeles. I rode like really long distances. I think I was like the only cyclist out there on some roads. But yeah, that's what I love about being here. I agree. Just the atmosphere, the European atmosphere, especially when the weather is nice. Everyone's out enjoying the sun, enjoying cafes, enjoying each other's company. So I definitely enjoy that aspect about being here. Now, here's another big question. I know that a lot of things have happened in the USA recently with a lot of laws, especially before and after the coronavirus. With all that has happened, do you think that, let's say that if you were still living in Poland today, would you consider moving to America nowadays? If you, let's say, you weren't married and you were living in Poland, would you consider making that move, or would you recommend other Polish people to move to the USA kind of in its current state?
So it's a very difficult question. Yes. I consider Newport Beach and Orange County as a bubble. So like I'm protected from all the outside things which are going on. So would I move? I wasn't planning from the beginning, I wasn't planning moving to US. It just happened for me. So I still think US is a great country. Like, it's so huge. You have so many beautiful areas. But would I move to US? I think I would try to choose different country, to be honest. But I have experience here, so maybe that's why I would choose different country, but it's still very attractive country.
I like the fact that you mentioned a bubble. I think that's essential. When you're able to, no matter where you are in the world, there's going to be pros and cons of any country you move to. And when you create a nice, safe bubble, like you mentioned, you live in that bubble, you exist in that bubble, regardless of what's happening on the outside. So I think it's important to be connected to the society at large, but also you do have to create your own bubble, and you have to pick a space where you feel comfortable. So
yeah,
thank you for sharing that with us.
yeah.
Now, here's another one. I know a lot of Polish people want to visit America, specifically Los Angeles. I think when Polish people find out I'm from LA, the first response is, why would you ever move to Poland? And like you, I kind of got here. I got here and life kept me here. I wasn't planning on staying here in Poland. I was planning to move maybe to Southern Europe, and life just kept me here. I met my partner and I was like, okay, I'm here for now. For Polish people specifically, if they were to come to California, what cities would you recommend them to visit?
Okay, don't get mad at me. Do not visit LA.
Why not?
I don't know. I find like it's crowded. The traffic is so bad. It's like you can spend in your car so many hours and not going anywhere. Yeah, moving from point A to point B is just terrible. So I don't know when last time you went to LA, but it became very dirty and dangerous recently. The homelessness issue, it's a huge issue here. Like, even I noticed in Orange County that it's more of an issue than it was like 9 years ago when I came to US. And yeah, LA, it's bad now. It's not, I don't know. I think you should spend your time visiting different places. Come to Orange County, like go to the coastline, drive on PCH from that LA to San Diego. I think that's beautiful. And my favorite, I know it's not California, but go to Grand Canyon. I think this is like the most beautiful part of US.
I've never been to the Grand Canyon.
3 times.
You've been there 3 times? And I've never been.
So far, yes.
I have to go on a visit. I definitely have to go. I do agree with you with LA. Yeah, it has changed a lot. I mean, housing is super expensive, and I did notice that there was a lot of, there always was homelessness in LA, specifically in specific areas of the city. And I did notice that when I went, there was homelessness everywhere. And so it was kind of sad for such a rich city and a rich county to not be able to like help with homelessness, mental health issues, and other issues that people are dealing with in Los Angeles. So
yeah, it is really sad. And I know that California has a beautiful weather, so of course people will be coming here because it's much easier to be on the street when you're not freezing, right?
Yeah, and I think that's one attractive thing about LA for everyone is the weather. Weather is important, and I think that's why a lot of people are always like stunned when they discover that I, chose to move to Poland and not stay in sunny California. So
I'm sure they're like, oh, Peter, can you switch with me? Like, I'll just go to California.
And you'll stay here in Poland. Now, I could talk to you all day. I know that we just met not too long ago, but I could talk to you all day. I'm so happy. I thank you so much for sharing your experience. I know I wish we had more time, but hopefully maybe we'll do something in the future with a different interview, maybe targeted on a specific topic. But before we go, I want you to mention a little bit more about the organization that you volunteer for and maybe give us a little information. I know that you were looking for maybe native speakers to maybe volunteer time to work with your girls over in Poland. So can you give them a little bit more information if someone who's a native speaker wanted to volunteer for your organization?
Yeah, so of course, Hackersi, they are always looking for volunteers. And what I'm looking for, I look for some native speakers. Like I asked my friends from school like to join my class and like have a 15 minutes conversation, because I think conversation, like trying to speak in different language, is very important. I don't know if it's just Polish thing, but we are always so afraid to speak in different language because we may not be speaking it perfectly, and it's fine. Like once you start talking, you'll have like next conversation, like the next conversation will be much easier. So that's what I'm looking for when I'm asking for native speakers to join my class for like 15 minutes just to talk a little bit, so they are used to not only my accent,
Mhm.
which is of course Polish, but they can also hear like American accent, which is different than British, right? So
Definitely.
yeah, so if you want to see a little bit more, like if you want to check a little bit more about the project, so it's hackersi.pl. The website is in Polish because they're looking for volunteers who can speak Polish. They do not only English classes, but also the graphic design and programming. So of course, people will not teach it in English, but
Mhm.
that'd be interesting. So yeah, that's mostly it. So yeah, hackersi.pl.
All right, perfect. I'll definitely will leave that information for everyone to pick up. Thank you so much for this interview. Again, like I said, I wish we had a lot more time, but unfortunately, only have this little tiny window with YouTube. But I want to thank you again so much. And, I want to also tell you, like, go ahead and enjoy the sun for me. Like, I definitely miss a sunny California.
So okay, now I can see a little bit more sun, and I don't know, maybe you can hear the planes. Like I live not that far from the airport, so the planes are taking off above our community. So yeah, I'll wave to the sun, and I'll say hi to the ocean from you.
All right, thank you so much. Well, thanks for having. I want to thank you for coming to the channel, and I definitely can't wait to have another interview with you.
Thanks for having me, and it's always pleasure talking to you.
Thank you for tuning in. I know that this video was super different. I hope that it was able to do the job that I meant it to do, and that I wanted to give a totally different perspective, a perspective from a Polish person living in America. Anyhow, if you like this kind of content, go hit that like and subscribe button, and I can't wait to see you next week.